I want to talk a little bit about the education cuts and the inequity that I see in these. Now, I'm a great supporter of education, and I know most of my colleagues in here are. I believe that the path out of the economic problems that we have today, many of the social problems that we have today, can be solved by educating our kids and giving them a good, solid education. I had the opportunity to get one. I worked hard for it, but it certainly paid off in later years. I was appalled when I saw the governor's budget. The governor's budget, if you took a look at it, took the schools from western New York on a sliding scale down to the richer, more affluent areas of New York State, and made the largest cuts in western New York. As a matter of fact, Wyoming County, a small county of 42,000 people, where I live, which I wholly represent, is ground zero for the cuts. $1,900 per pupil in a county that has a mean income of around $35,000 to $40,000 a year. I couldn't believe it, and it begs the question: why would the cuts be that deep in an area of the state that can least afford them, where there's the least economic opportunity, where there aren't the jobs that there are in the metropolitan areas of New York State? And we all know there's a big difference in the economies from New York City to out to western New York, Niagara Falls, and those areas. I asked the question, is it political? It's strange to me, and I was appalled. Now, I appreciate the 7% that the Assembly majority has put back into this budget. It helps, but it does nothing to change how the cuts are skewed to favor the richer, more wealthier areas of this state as opposed to the poorer areas in western New York. So that's what I want to point out, the inequities. I ask you, when we go back to this budget and we take a look at how we can work our conference committees to work on the differences, when we get the Senate budget and we take this budget, we put it together with the governor's budget and we work on those, our schools and our areas, they understand we're in difficult economic times. They're willing to share in the cuts, but it's a total injustice when the poorer areas of New York State suffer the greatest cuts, and then the areas where you probably do have the millionaires, where you can get the millionaires tax, have the least cuts. So I appeal to you, the leadership, Speaker Silver, Senator Skelos, and the governor of the state to treat our kids in western New York and in Wyoming County fairly. Treat them equally as you would any other child. I don't discriminate against any child at Long Island, New York City. I think that every child should have an equal opportunity. I know that you share my thoughts on that, and please, please work to make my kids in western New York and in Wyoming County and the areas out there on an equal basis with the rest of the children in this state. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.